Lakme Fashion Week designer and ubiquitous personality, Ms. Kaveri Lal Chand is the face behind her eponymous label, Kaveri, India's only all-linen clothing brand. She started her journey as a factory manager in her family-grown business with an education in design from Parsons, New York. Ms. Kaveri's own ventures spawned from paucity with a flow of customizable garments. The House of Kaveri has achieved rapid growth, diversifying into men's, children's, and even a Kota line, but has not lost sight of its mission of inclusivity and empowerment with style, confidence, and wisdom. Wishing her tremendous success and remarkable achievements in all her future ventures. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please put your hands together in welcoming Ms. Kaveri Lal Chand with a huge round of applause.
Hello, Kaveri. Welcome to SSVM.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You know, this is my first time here, and I just came in this afternoon. I know you all study here, and I've been here since yesterday. But I just have to say how overwhelmed and moved I am to be here in this beautiful environment. You're all so blessed to be part of this movement of the SSVM. Thank you, ma'am, Shrisha, for inviting me. And, you know, the video that played before this, Transforming Students to Transform India, it really moved me. And I think even Arun before me said, we all need to remember how truly blessed we are that we are born to this great country. We do not realize how much we are already blessed with being part of this long, rich, ancient culture and heritage. And I think we need to go back to that to take ourselves, our community, and our country forward.
Our culture, our heritage, how to make conscious choices, learn from our elders, embrace India's rich cultural, textile and weaving heritage. But before we do dive into all of that, I know that you've got a few topics that would help us set context for the conversation. So if I can get you started in talking to the students about those concepts, then we can dive in.
Sure. You know, the thing is, there's so much that I'd like to talk about and so much that I'd like to share. But first, let me start with something that I live by. I don't know if you've heard of this saying, nothing changes if nothing changes, and we have to keep changing, whether it's our thoughts, our beliefs, from learning and changing from my experiences. And that's what's helped me to grow my business and to do what I want to do. We all have a certain form of conditioning. And then we are allowed to step out, and schools like this, conclaves like this, open our mind to give us the knowledge, information, and strength to then move forward and move out. So I started my clothing brand about 11 years ago with 3 tailors to do exactly what I was told not to do. I was told it's too late in your life to start a fresh career. You need to think of what is mainstream. You can all see we've all battled with body shaming, certain body types that are conventional, even in the movie and fashion industry. So I set about doing things I was told not to do. I set about doing things that were not the norm. I set about doing things that I really wanted to. So I started with 3 tailors. I started making clothes which were inclusive of all body types, because this was a place where women, well, I mainly do for women of all sizes and body types could come and feel comfortable and find clothes that worked for them.
Well, if I may jump in, that's what outliers do.
Sorry?
They're usually 10 years ahead of their time, and that is how your story lines up. Everything that you did 10 years ago that people said not to do is a trend right now that brands are trying to emulate. And I know you said this is your first time to Coimbatore.
No,
first time to SSVM.
Yes.
But I promise you, I've seen your clothes in this very halls.
Yes, yeah, I do have a lot of people who wear my clothes. And so I think So that's another thing, what I thought of when I started making clothes. I didn't start with how the clothes look. I started with how do the clothes make you feel? And that's what I feel is what helped my brand grow, which made my brand grow. So for all you girls and boys out there, if anyone tells you anything, I mean, we'll talk about what is body positivity also. Don't listen to them. I mean, I'm sharing something because I'm actually very emotional being up here. I've been told 100 times, how do you go up and stand in front of so many people? You know, you should be slim and trim. I say, but because I'm speaking from my heart and I want to share what I want to share. So when I say I design clothes to make you feel better, to make you feel confident, to make you feel who you actually are, not just following trends. And that will go into anything you do in life. Don't follow trends, don't follow the herd, don't just follow what is trending on Instagram at the moment. I mean, it's quite addictive, Instagram, and we all can say that, yeah, we sometimes, get sucked into that world, but take a step back and step out.
I loved that. And can I also say, thank you for taking up space when you were denied it. Thank you for finding your voice, your agency, because we live in a world where representation matters. And for a lot of people out there, having you do what you do, getting to walk into your store and finding their sizes on a rack. Yes. I know the impact it's had on people. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I want to take you back to 2011. Okay, we've had a lot of speakers today who've said, don't listen to anybody, but please go back after the conclave and listen to your teachers. But in life, don't listen to terrible advice. 2011, there were lots of naysayers. Where did the idea for this brand come from?
So the whole thing came from a very, very personal space where I would actually go to other designers and I would be told that they wouldn't be able to make clothes for me because they wouldn't make clothes in my size. Or I would be charged a lot of extra money for it, which I call fat tax. You have to pay a fat, well, it's not politically correct to say that word, but it is what it is. So it came from a very personal experience, and I felt that it's not just about being a bigger size. Maybe you need some special care in your clothes, so then that's why I started. It came from a very personal space. It came from also understanding that when you say, I have nothing to wear, it's not because you have nothing to wear. You just don't have something that will make you feel confident enough to walk into that, into that event or into that function. So it's not about having clothes that make you look pretty. It's, again, having clothes that make you feel empowered.
I love that. There was a need for size inclusivity. But what I do love about your brand is not only does it make you feel good, it feels great on the skin, which you can't quite say for a lot of fashion out there.
Well, actually, no, that's the beauty of linen fabric. So I started and I own India's all linen clothing brand. Now, linen as a fabric is made from the flax plant. When I first started 11 years ago, linen was not a very common fabric in India. People asked me whether it was khadi, if it was jute, or if it was a different kind of cotton. But it's made from the flax plant, from the stalk, from the fibers from the stalk of the flax plant. And for me personally, people ask me why all linen. Very simple. I love linen as a fabric. It's a fabric that has a very old history, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. The textures and the slubs of the fabric gives it its earthiness and richness. And also, it is a natural and one of the most eco-friendly fabrics that you can get. Without thinking of what is now the buzzword of sustainability, I found myself being drawn to this fabric, and that's why it feels really good, especially in India where it's hot and we're sweating. The fabric is very breathable and it cools you down. In fact, it draws out the heat from your body. It's also hypoallergenic. That's why it's used a lot for babies' clothes. And it's one of the most comfortable fabrics that you can wear. And like life, like linen and life is better when it's got creases and crushes and a little bit of trials and tribulations along the way. So linen is known for its texture and also that it's also accepted because it's beautifully crushed and just very, very natural.
Yeah, linen wears beautifully because every crease, every line tells you the story of how your day has been so far. Yes, but I do think since it comes from flax fibers, flax seeds got rebranded as a superfood and they went viral. We need to call it a super fabric and then maybe it'll go viral for all the right reasons. I mean, we can go on complaining about social media or we can harness it for good. And I want to jump right back to something Arun said earlier in the previous session where he brought up about how for those of us who were 80s children, 90s children, or the generations before that, we were used to having 2 new clothes a year. It would be your birthday, it would be Diwali, and if you hadn't gotten taller and there was no tuck to open, then maybe you'll get a 3rd one for Pongal. Or if you had an older sister, then too bad, you're getting hers. But we now live in an era where if someone is going to school for 30 days before they go home, parents maybe pack 30 outfits so they don't have to do laundry. Or we're going on a holiday for 12 days somewhere. Instead of taking 1 suitcase, we take 12 different outfits so we don't even have to try. And that is someone being minimalist, mind you, and not doing morning, noon, and night outfits. So where are we headed with this shopping culture and how can we make one tiny change in our lives today?
Yeah, so actually what you said is very true. When we were growing up, we didn't just go out and buy clothes. And it wasn't a thing to do. Now you guys meet. Why do you meet? You're going to meet to go shopping, or you're going to meet to go to
a mall and
shop, and you're buying clothes at least 2-3 times a month. And that's what comes back to our rich heritage and our value for fabrics that we have in India. We got outfits as birthday presents. We wore new clothes on our birthday. It was a milestone. We wore new clothes on Diwali or Christmas or on a special occasion. So fabrics, saris are given as on very, very auspicious occasions. So we revered fabrics. We revered textiles, we revered fabrics, and we kept them carefully. And if you notice, in America, I have seen this, but in India, you never see clothes dumped into a garbage bin. You never see a garbage bin with a bag of old clothes. We never threw it away. And as you all discussed in your other sessions. So fabrics and textiles are revered. And again, another one of my very, very favorite sayings is choose well, make it last. Choose well. Choose something that's of value. And this is only pertaining, well, I'm talking about the clothing industry. Choose something that has value and that will last. And wear it again and again. And just enjoy that piece of clothing. Nowadays, you also learn how we want to know, customers want to know, where does the fabric come from? Who has made your fabric? The whole fashion revolution of who made your clothes. So when you buy something, there are brands that share where the fabrics come from, who has made it, the source of it. Take pride in that, knowing where your garment is from and valuing it. And that will not make you throw it away that more easier. So you'll value it and hold on to it.